Hi, I'm Jules. Today I'm going to talk about Ho Chi Tunnels, mainly how to do it independently, but also with a comparison with a tour. I've been to Vietnam 8 times before. I don't speak any Vietnamese. I love the country. I love being there. But for some reason, I'd just never gone to Ho Chi Tunnels. I always kind of thought it wouldn't suit me, was a long way to go because it will take up a lot of the day, and just never did it. However, this time I was traveling with a friend, and she really wanted to go there. We'd been traveling around for 2 weeks together, so it was a really good opportunity for us to go do our own thing. She loves tours, so she decided to go on a tour, and I decided that I was going to go on the local buses, which really suits the way that I love to travel. Um, in summary, we both had a fabulous day. She went to the Bendin tunnels where the tour buses tend to go. I went to the Duoc Tunnels. I apologise if I pronounce it incorrectly. And both were great. The one that I went to, the Duoc Tunnels, had a lot more jungle. There, she said at her one, there was the bamboo forest, but not the jungle that I saw. So I just found the jungle gave it a lot of atmosphere. We both had a guide. When you go into the tunnels, you have to go in with the guides, whichever one you go into. The advantage that we discussed about going on the bus is on the tour bus is that the tour bus stopped halfway and they went to a factory, and there was a little shop there and they could go to the toilet and things like that. I went on the bus and it's well over 2 hours on the bus, so it's an awfully long way without a toilet break or a snack break. And but all in all, we found that both fantastic. Her tour cost about $19 US, and they picked her up at the hotel, took her on the tour. She had a guide on the bus that kind of went through a bit of history and things like that, and then brought them back. My day on the bus, all in all, with the entry fees, cost me about $8 US. Also had a guide through the tunnels. He was excellent. We were both in a group of about 15 people, so it wasn't crowded. She commented that when they had their little break halfway through their tour at the snack bar, they could hear the shooting range, where people were just playing with bullets, all the different machine guns and all the different guns that they have, and buying bullets. I didn't hear any of that, although there was a shooting range at the one I went on to, which I'll get onto later. So I guess it comes down to how you like to travel, the convenience. I really like going on the local bus. There were different types of people getting on and off all the time. It seemed to be a bit of a courier bus because we'd stop somewhere, someone would push a package on the bus, they'd kind of put it to one side and then drive off again, and then later on we'd stop somewhere and someone would pick up the package. So that was all kind of interesting, just seeing local life going on, just driving all the way out of Ho Chi Minh. Whether you go on a tour or independently, it's probably going to take you just as long. Most of the trip is getting out of Ho Chi Minh and the traffic. And so both of them take equally as long. I left at about 11 a.m. I was back about 6. Her tour left at 12 o'clock, I think, and she got back about 7. So it was the same amount of time. You need about an hour at the tunnels, so most of your time is spent traveling. Okay, I've just got a few photos and maps and things like that to go through on how to get there if you do want to go independently. So I'll just talk through those now. It's the number 13 bus that goes, that you'll get on first of all, and that is in the bus station at the Benji Boit, excuse my pronunciation, Saigon bus station next to 23 Park or 23 September Park. Just on the map there you'll see where Ben Thanh Market is. That seems to be kind of like a central landmark, and also there's Backpacker Street, Wu Vien Street. You go to the bus station, you get bus number 13, which is going to Ho Chi bus station. So Ho Chi is a little township. Well, I don't think it's actually that little, just out of Ho Chi Minh City. So you catch it from that Benjue Saigon bus station next to 239 Park. The buses tend to leave about every 15 to 20 minutes from 5 a.m. So they're very regular. I would suggest that you go to the counter when you get to the bus station, and I've got an arrow that's pointing to where the counter is, and just ask where the bus is. Normally the buses, any buses I've caught in Ho Chi Minh tend to drive around to just in front of that counter and everyone gets on and off the bus goes. But they directed me to the number 13 bus, which was way over the other side of the bus parking lot, and just to walk over and get on. So I walked through the bus parking lot and got on the bus, and then a few minutes later it left. There will be someone that will come around and ask you to pay for your ticket, which when I went in 2023 was 20,000 Vietnamese dong. You pay that to the fare collector and they'll give you a ticket, and it's cash only. Okay, Vietnam has always been a cash economy every time I've been there, and it continues to be so. There's more and more places accepting cards now, like most of the hotels I went to, you can pay by card. A lot of restaurants, you can pay by card, but things like buses and in the markets, they just want cash. It took about 1.5 hours to get to the Ho Chi bus station, and then it's at that stage you hop on the next bus, which is number 79. I wouldn't leave much past midday, just to ensure you've got enough time to get there, because it's well over 2 hours travelling time. And then to get there, and then there's about an hour at the tunnels at least, and then a couple of hours to get back. And the last number 13 bus from Ho Chi bus station leaves at 5:45. I found some really great bus information, including all the routes, the stops, the timetables, the bus cost, etc. at that website there. Just have a play around with it. It's got all the Ho Chi Minh buses on it. These were the times for the number 13 bus departure from the station, but note that these could change at any time. I would have caught the 11:10 bus out, and so check those on that website. If you want to get on at some other stations or bus stops, that's the kind of, after the bus leaves, that's the route that it takes to your hotel. There may be a stop closer to your hotel or wherever you're staying that might suit you better to get on the bus there. This is the route that the bus takes. So when you get to Ho Chi bus station, get off the bus, have a look around. It's only a small bus station, there'll be a few buses in there. Just look around for bus 79. If there isn't one there, there's big numbers written on the window. If there isn't one there, then just wait, it won't be long. You just get straight on the bus, and when it takes off, they'll come around and get you to pay the 7,000 dong. These were the bus number 79 departure times from Ho Chi bus station, but once again, that was in 2023, so I just look at that website and see if they've been updated. This is the route that the bus 79 takes. It takes about 40 minutes. I've got an arrow pointing to where you'll get off. You'll notice that the bus turns the corner, and it's a 90-degree turn when you see that big blue sign, and that big blue sign says go this way to the Duoc Tunnels where we were going, and the other way to the Ben Din Tunnels, which is where my friend went. But the Ben Din Tunnels, if you wanted to go there, I guess you could get off there and walk, but I think it was about 11 kilometres, a huge walk from there. So we turned left, and there was about another 3 kilometres to get to the tunnels that I was going to. When you get to your stop, you'll see this sign here, which is a bit different from the other blue one, but it's still a big blue sign, and the bus will stop just after that. And it'll stop at a T intersection, so it'll drop you off and you're like, oh goodness, I'm in the middle of nowhere, but you're not. If you look across the road, there's a little shop, and I found there was a couple of ladies there in the shop, and they were really friendly and helped me out, and just kind of pointed to where they were. So that's when you get off. It's about 10 minutes after the bus turned left, so the bus does go fairly slowly, and that little shop there on that corner is where you'll catch the 79 bus when you're going back. So when you're ready to go back, just walk back to that shop. So across that main road, if you could call it a main road, it was basically just a road, and then start walking down the side road. After about 200 metres or so, you'll get to the ticket booth. The ticket cost me 125,000 Vietnamese dong, and that was in 2023. This included the tour with a guide. You'll pass a few things. One of them will be the jungle games. The full package ticket is 249,000 Vietnamese dong. Then you keep walking along a bit further and you get to the kiosk selling the bullets. So they have a shooting range there. And so there's all the prices of the bullets. This was in 2023. And then suddenly in the distance you'll spot this big plane and the tanks, and you'll know that you're at the tunnel entrance. That's what the tunnel entrance looks like. This is the first kind of stuff you see. There's lots of guns, shells, paraphernalia. There was lots there, so there was lots and lots of these gun cabinets. And then you start walking down this little path here, and it was along this path that they took my ticket, and you just keep walking, and you pass, a few things like this, and eventually you'll get to the hut where you have to wait for the guide. There was only that one other person there when I got there, but it was only probably about 5 to 10 minutes later that we had enough people to run a tour because the guide appeared. There is a propaganda video. We got to go down about 5 tunnels. The one on the right apparently is one of the original tunnels that was used. We weren't allowed to go down that one, we were just allowed to stand on the side and look at it. Then we've got this video here going through the tunnels. At the very end of the tour, they give you these tapioca chips. Then at the end, there's all of these traps. Now, going back to Ho Chi Minh, note. The last number 13 bus leaves at 17:45 from Cu Chi Township. So you have to be back to that bus station by 17:45. And that is, at this stage, the very last bus. So to get back, you walk back to the main road where the bus dropped you off, and wait in front of the little store on the corner for bus number 79 going back to Cu Chi Station. It'll be going obviously in the other way than what you arrived in. Another 7,000 Vietnamese dong, and there's the bus departure times on that route. And the bus will arrive 5 to 10 minutes after these times because that's coming from their final stop. Once you get back to that Cu Chi bus terminal, get on the number 13, another 20,000 Vietnamese dong, and they're the bus times going back. I've spent my life travelling the world. I mainly travel on my own. Years ago, before my kids grew up, they're now in their 20s, I've taken them around the world as well and instilled in them a love of travelling. So I have so many people asking me for tips on what to do, so I thought, I'll start making these videos. So I'll be gradually posting more and more and more. I've got a few more on Vietnam to post, just on mainly how to catch public transport or what I thought of various things. Ho Chi Minh, there is so much to do there. So yeah, I'll start posting videos. Okay, and hope to see you again soon.